My name is Jackie Termini, and I'm the liaison at K-14 Outreach and Partnerships at Finger Lakes Community College. And I'm here today with Chef Jamie Rotter, who is the program coordinator for our Culinary Arts program at FLCC. We just want to tell you a little bit about the program today. So Jamie, if you could tell us a little bit about why students really should consider actually going to college as opposed to just starting to work right in a restaurant. Couldn't I just work in a restaurant, learn how to be a chef on the job, and then work my way up?
Sure, Jackie, thanks. That's a really good question, and that's a question that we field from students quite frequently. It's really a combination of those two entities that really allows you to kind of advance your career. Okay. Um, Again, you there's what we would call, or you've heard talk of a glass ceiling. Okay, and that definitely exists in the hospitality arena and culinary arena as well, where yeah, you can go so far without that credential, okay, but eventually you'll get to a point where to take that next step, you really need to have some formal education behind you, okay. Particularly in this day and age when employers are very, very conscious about profit and loss, they're looking for people on their management team where they're going to be able to have some sort of a guarantee that they are going to be able to get their money's worth. And that really is what the value of a college degree in general is. Okay. What we do here is we also involve ourselves in doing some national certifications. ServSafe is a sanitation class that we teach, and our students come out with that certification. It's a state law that food service employees in New York State have to have a ServSafe credential. So you get that here. Tips is deals with responsible beverage service, which is very, very important to minimize the liabilities that a business can incur when dealing with selling alcohol. Okay, so even if you're not 21, you can serve alcohol legally in New York State at 18. And this coursework kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of what signs to look for that somebody is intoxicated and how to handle some of those situations, which is good information. We work closely in culinary arts with our business and hospitality programs here at Finger Lakes Community College, so that when our students are selecting electives in either one of those areas, they're able to really focus on parts of the industry that they're particularly interested in. Examples of that may be culinary students could take as their business elective a class called Small Business Management, which really shows you how to build that small business. What are the pitfalls? What are the things that you can avoid in terms of how to put that business model together? We also have students that will take courses from our hospitality menu as well. Okay. Particularly in the Finger Lakes region, tourism and culinary arts are very, very closely linked, as are culinary arts and wine production. Tourism, in a lot of cases, is the bridge that marries those two things together. So, with our flexible programming here at FLCC, you're really able to customize your path even on a 2 year associate's degree level.
And it certainly sounds like it's a lot more than just cooking alone.
It certainly is. We have course work that involves human resource management, organizational behavior, cost controls, things like that, which, truth be told, are not always the most exciting things in the world, but they are the things that allow us to stay in business long enough to do the fun stuff, which is cooking food.
Absolutely. So if you could explain a little bit about the employment opportunities or what I can actually do with my degree once I leave FLCC.
Absolutely. There's a lot to hospitality in general. It really, I always used to think that it was just a specific kind of business, okay, and all of that. But it really, hospitality fields attract a certain type of person, and that person is usually interested in working with people, even if it may be somewhat indirectly. Okay. So I prefer to be back in the kitchen. I'm not really kind of a public guy, okay, all the time. But I've learned how to do that. And part of the critical skills that are involved in hospitality is just observing customers' behavior and learning how to target your offerings to what their expectations are. The venues that we're doing things like that in are as wide and diverse as I've kind of started to illustrate here. And interestingly enough, the path through these different opportunities may change throughout the course of your life. So restaurants are a lot of fun. Okay, they're a lot of fun when you're 20, 25 years old. Okay, they're open late. It's a tight knit, small community. The work is very hard in a lot of cases, but it's very rewarding. And you get a lot of excitement, okay, around the restaurant business. As you get a little bit older, what I found was happening to me is I was less excited about some of those opportunities and really wanted to explore something that was a little bit more stable. So I went to college, okay, at age 27, after my restaurant career, if you will, and thought that I wanted to get into country clubs. So I spent a summer working as a student manager at the Delhi College golf course down in Delhi, New York, and discovered that I really didn't like that at all. So I had an opportunity to then kind of retool myself a little bit to look at some other opportunities. My senior year at Delhi, the vice president of administration approached me and asked me if I would like to run the dining hall. And I truthfully had never even occurred to me that that might be something that I might use my degree for. But I did it. And it turned out to be one of the most rewarding experiences of my life and also cleared a path for me into education. So, college and scholastic dining is a different beast entirely. Okay. During the semesters, you work very, very hard. But some of the breaks that happen during the school year often happen for you as well in that field. So I get more time off in the summer. I get time off around Christmas when I was in that business. Um, in between or around my career as a dining hall manager and then as an instructor, I had the opportunity as well to explore some other fields. I developed some recipes that were used by Brewery Omegang, where we took their beer and incorporated their beer into some different sausages that we then turned around and sold to the brewery so that they could sell those in their tasting room, which was really a very cool experience. I had dealt with some wineries and things like that before, but I'd never worked with a brewery. So that was really fascinating, okay, to see how they were going to take a product that I developed and how they market it and how they use that. There are other options that are out there as well. I've done a little bit of food writing and hope to do a little bit of publication. Okay. I've written most of my own recipes for many years now. And so doing that is something that also a culinary degree is very useful for. And it's, again, not something that I ever would have noticed before. But there are food bloggers that are making six figures a year
Mhm.
writing about food, presenting recipes to people that they can either prepare at home or they can look for when they're out. So that again would marry another set, okay, of skills into this. So there really is a lot of opportunity out there. We've done some work here in Canandaigua with Ferris Hills, which is an elder care facility that's located here in town. And again, I think many people think of elder care as being nursing home, like where they're getting terrible food and all of this. And students were very, very surprised when they walked into the dining room there and saw food that was every bit as good as what would be on the table at any country club in the Rochester area. So there really is a lot of variable or variance in terms of the fields that are out there and what you can do with this degree for sure.
That's
And we explore a lot of that here. So that's neat.
That is great. So obviously, it doesn't have to be, I don't have to decide that path ahead of time. I can just have somewhat what of an interest and could get started and then sort of figure out my actual path as I go along. It sounds like, because it appears that FLCC gives a lot of options to explore those kind of things.
Yes,
That
we
being
we we do, and in fact, what we do here is part of our program here. We require, in lieu of an internship, we require professional experience hours, and where a lot of colleges will do a more traditional internship experience, where you go to a property, you work, okay, you come back, you report. Okay, we encourage folks to explore different opportunities. Okay, make a proposal. Tell me that you want to spend 30 hours exploring what it's like to be a country club chef. And you can get credit for that experience that will count toward your degree program here at FLCC.
So can you explain just very quickly a little bit about the difference between a certificate and an AAS degree?
Absolutely. So our student body here at Finger Lakes Community College is very diverse. They're diverse in terms of not only their backgrounds, but also what their ages are, what their experience level in the world is. All of those things can be very, very different. So we have two offerings here that are a little bit different, but that can serve those markets. An AAS degree is, again, more of a traditional college degree. It's a 4 semester program, typically speaking. Okay. That can be accelerated by taking classes either in high school that would count toward college credit. Okay. Or you can take classes in the winter and summer here as well that would accelerate your path through that program if you so desire. Okay. If you want to go on, the associate's degree prepares you very well to further your education at 4 year institutions where you're going to learn more about the business side of culinary arts and how to manage some of those skills. All right. That's not for everybody. I've had many students that have had a desire to learn about culinary arts, but want to do something on a part time basis. They may have even had a master's degree or a doctoral degree in another field, okay, but they really want to explore culinary arts. Our certificate program provides them the opportunity to do that without taking those general education credits that they've already gotten someplace else. The certificate is also very well geared for working adults, okay, that are trying to balance home, work, and still develop a credential that can help them advance their career. So the certificate is very well set up for that. And of course, you can attain the certificate. And if you change your mind, you can always take the general education classes and then work that certificate into an associate's degree that you can move down the line with.
Wonderful. So again, I don't have to make all of those decisions necessarily
Absolutely
before
not.
I get started. Right.
Absolutely not.
Excellent. Well, Jamie, thank you so much for your time today and for sharing such great information about the culinary program.
Glad to help. And anybody who has any interest, don't hesitate to look us up on the flcc.edu website. My contact information is there, as is Ms. Paula Knight, who runs our hospitality programs, and Chef Patrick Ray, who runs our food and beverage management program. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.